Hi, I'm Brittany, a neurodivergent mum and speech pathologist. This is Not Just Theories, where I share what actually works in my real, messy life. Because life doesn't follow a theory. Here's what I actually do. Hello, and thanks for being here. This is the very first episode of Not Just Theories. And before I dive into the day-to-day stuff I'll normally share, I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself and explain what this podcast is really about. If you're a parent, a speech pathologist, a fellow neurodivergent adult, or someone who's just trying to make life work, especially when all the expert advice feels overwhelming, you're in the right place. So, a little bit about me. I'm Brittany. I live in Sydney, Australia. I'm a mum to 2 young kids. I'm neurodivergent, late diagnosed, and I'm a speech language pathologist, or a speechy. I'm also a full-blown nerd. I love reading books. I get way too excited about getting to play Dungeons and Dragons on Mondays, and I dream of finishing a cup of tea while it's still hot, because that doesn't happen very often these days. In my work as a speechy, I spend a lot of time helping other parents support their kids. And then I go home and try to do it myself while managing sensory overload, scheduling chaos, and that special kind of fatigue that comes with parenthood. I have read so many parenting books. I have listened to webinars, I've done courses, and I have noticed something. Just knowing the theory isn't enough. In the thick of real life, with meltdowns, toddler chaos, endless laundry, and no idea what's for dinner, you need more than advice. You need examples. You need to hear how someone actually does it, especially if your brain, like mine, needs scripts or structure to make things stick. So I created this podcast because I found myself constantly thinking, that sounds good in theory, but how does anyone actually do that in real life? So I wanted to make something, honest. It's not going to be overly polished. My editing skills are a little subpar, but I'm hoping that this can be grounded and useful. So sometimes I'll talk about parenting and communication, leaning a little bit on my training as a speech pathologist. And sometimes I'll be talking about household systems, mental load, what I've been learning about myself in my free time. And sometimes I will just walk you through what worked or didn't work in my week, because that's sometimes where the learning is. What to expect. So each episode will be short. I'm hoping to go for around 10 or 15 minutes most of the time, so that it's easy to fit into, a quick commute somewhere, or while you're folding some laundry or cooking dinner. I'm wanting to focus on one real life topic or challenge at a time, and really dive into the how. So not just the what I'm doing or why, but how do I actually do things. Sometimes I may have guests who could be other parents, therapists, neurodivergent voices who'll share their version of what they actually do. Because this isn't just about what works for me. It's about building a bit of a collection of lived experiences rather than just textbook strategies. So hopefully there's going to be something here for everyone. So, if you've ever felt like the expert tips just don't work and that makes you feel like you're failing, or if you're somebody who needs a script or an example before you can apply an idea, or if you just wanted some support that's kind and not shame-based, as well as being practical, then I hope this podcast will fit that for you. So it's not about doing it all or being perfect. It's about real life support for you from someone who's also in the trenches right now. So over the next few episodes, I'll be talking about things like, how I support my kids' communication in real life, so not just as a therapist, systems I've stuck with, ones I haven't, how I manage mornings as a neurodivergent household, and some little tweaks that have made a really big difference for my mental load. So if that sounds helpful, or just something you're interested in hearing more about, I would love it if you could hit follow so that you don't miss what's next. Thanks so much for listening to this very first episode of Not Just Theories. I'm Brittany, and I'll see you next week. Until then, be kind to your brain.